wanna hit this. I guess I could take one time.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the World Championship.
They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
Nobody will ever come catch me. I'm just trying to be myself.
Welcome in, everybody. Timberwolves lose for the 17th time in the last 6 months to the Dallas Mavericks on the same exact shot by Luka Doncic every single night. If you're new here, like the stream, subscribe to the stream, and follow us on podcasts wherever you find your podcasts, especially if they're Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Yeah, bummer of a night. Great start, fast start for both teams, honestly, but fun game in the beginning, not such a fun game after we started turning the ball over for a record rate yet again. Seems to be our problem this year. Maybe to be expected with new guys, but how do you feel after that loss?
Disappointed, of course, with the loss. Couldn't close out yet another potentially close game against Dallas, but early season. And I'm going to maybe say that for a couple more games until that early season can't be used as an excuse. A lot of people holding the ball, a lot of people handling the ball, a lot of turnovers going to happen. A lot of people need to do more, so they're going to cough the ball up, and Ant is a byproduct of that. Nas is a byproduct of that. Randall's a byproduct of that. So I think that's okay. But can we capitalize on their mistakes? Well, they didn't really have many in the second half, as well as, hey, maybe we got to the line, but we didn't capitalize on the free throws either. So I will say there's a kind of a compounding problem with this team that, hey, when we go small, we look great, we look the part, but we can't rebound, we can't box out. And there's moments where we look great defensively, and then we just can't finish the possession by getting the rebound, which ends the possession. Lively had too much of an impact. You said, what are my quick thoughts? I feel like they're bigger, they're stronger, they're more mature than us. And they've been tested, and we're kind of learning a little bit more about ourselves, and we still have to implement more and more pieces as the season progresses. We're going to hopefully have to fix all these problems throughout the season, and I'm fine with this loss. Like, it sucks that we lost, but I'm kind of fine with it because we're having it now, right? We get to fix this shit now.
Yep. 100%. No, yeah. The regular season is when you want this to happen. I mean, I in my brain had kind of hyped this game up as like a revenge game almost. I thought we would come out really hot. We did, and really try to prove that the reason we lost was because we were tired or whatever last season. But no, I mean, everything you said is true. We're a new team. The thing that just really annoys me about the Mavericks is that they just have 2 or 3 players, depending on how you count it. But that if they're just on, there's just no beating them. There's just no beating them, because like, even if Ant is on like he was early in the first quarter, he had 24 points. The game was like tied, or like, I mean, we were up by like 8 or 10 or at some point. But like, realistically, it was like pretty close still, and Ant had everything. But when somebody like Luka is on, it doesn't matter. Like, he will either make every shot or find the open person every time. And he did. And he actually found a lot of people open that didn't make shots tonight. But even on a night where Luka wasn't necessarily the most efficient version of himself, you have Kyrie, who then is able to step up and do almost the same thing, where it's like he just can make shots and he can just get to his spots every single time. And there's just no beating it. But yeah, I mean, our problems right now are rebounding and turnovers. Honestly, if we didn't turn the ball over so much, we actually had a chance. I mean, how many times have we said this where it's like, hey, if we just fix a couple of these things, we win the game. Already this season, we've said that in every loss that we've had. It's like, okay, yeah, if we make a couple more free throws, or if we make a couple more, if like somebody's a little bit more efficient from 3, there's just little things to be done. We're still new, but we'll figure it out.
After 24 points in the first quarter by Ant, he scored 13, but a lot of that was I wouldn't say garbage time, but like the closing minutes of the game, including the free throw and the 3 and the kind of the layup or whatever. But I I feel like maybe the injury or like the shoe, like stepping on people's foot, rolling of the ankle turned him,
Yes.
not just his foot, but his mentality to kind of be less aggressive, be less enforcive, be a little lackluster on defense. And so I did see a lot of offensive rebounds from Dallas from that position as well. And like the closeout three from, that position to a, you know, what do they have? They have Quentin Grimes. They have like Spencer Dinwiddie. They have all these other people that can just knock shots down. Even PJ Washington. So they have kind of retooled. They lost some people. They like lost Derek Jones Jr. I believe, but they replaced with they got Clay and they got Najir Muhammad. So I feel like they've really retooled, and we have like we have like restarted. We have like 4 pieces.
Yeah.
Awesome. That first quarter was a cool glimpse, a lens, like if you were to zoom in, and as at our identity, we had everyone kind of like in our rotation play. 4 assists for Julius Randle, a pop off for Ant, nothing really negative to say, but then the turnovers poured in, the game slowed down. Luka went to the free throw line a bunch, hit clutch shots, the game turned, right? And we went to halftime down, and then Kyrie, as you said, pop off in the third. And then we were kind of just like catching our tail in the fourth. We were just trying, and miraculous plays got us back in the game. Honestly, we were going to lose this game at the start of that fourth quarter. And some questionable calls here and there, but like that really can't be what we talk about.
Yeah,
and a lot of mental mistakes and a lot of just like togetherness that we still need to figure it out.
And the call that was the new Jaden rule then goes against us this time. Which is funny because that was the same call that happened in the series against the Mavs last year, but was not called because it wasn't a rule yet. But this year it hurts us. Just Timberwolves things. Pretty annoying. Yeah, there was a couple bad calls, but like you said, this was not just the calls. Crone, appreciate you. Welcome back,
What's
Crone.
up, Finn?
Good to hear from you again.
Thank you, my friend.
We appreciate
it's great to see you in Discord. Shout out to the Discord. # join the Discord. I don't know what we say.
Yeah, something like that.
You need to say that.
Yeah, I mean, for the Mavs, they just had a few players just go crazy. I mean, Luka ended up with 24, Kyrie had 35, Gafford had 14, PJ Washington had 17. It's just a frustrating thing because every other player for them had single digits. Or what was it? Somebody was arguing that it was single digit, not single digits. I don't know. I think that was in one of the first game of the year or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But anyways, they only had 4 players in double digits, and unfortunately, that was enough to beat us. So, on our end, do we want to jump into the tier list?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, one of our goals, and you guys will hold us to it, Anthony Hollis. I know you will. As we're going to try to make shorter shows so that we can get to bed earlier, or for us, get to dinner.
Get the lunch. No,
get the lunch. Yeah, just a couple other little tidbits. Do we have like an identity issue on this team right now, Cameron?
I think so. I mean, it depends on how you. Like the issue, yes, but like, do I think it's going to be an issue long term? Maybe no. I kind of feel like this is just like you were saying at the beginning. Like we are still figuring a lot of things out. So like, Julius, like the first game, it was very different than the second game. The second game, it was like people were like, "No, we need you to play your game," and he played a lot better. Since then. So like Julius has gotten better. And, I still don't think that there's still some fit in there. We don't have much of an identity right now other than just Ant is a star and that's about it, and then we've maybe integrated a little bit of like, okay, Randall gets to cook a little bit offensively. But beyond that, there's just no I guess our identity is chuck threes. Chuck threes and don't play defense anymore.
Yeah,
it's all bad things at the moment, but that's what I think we have to kind of figure it out naturally, which is what we're doing right now, which is not fun to be a part of, but I think it has to. And then, I said this at the very beginning of the season, this is going to take weeks. This isn't something where we're going to be able to just like click right away and everything's going to be good. And, we're going to need to build something. You said it well. the Mavericks retooled their team. We restarted our team. Like, it's going to take time. I'm not saying we're not going to win games. Like, we could have even won this game tonight. But it's not going to be as easy as it was maybe at the beginning of last season, or even mid-season, or in the playoffs. Like, it's going to be different.
I think we have mental lapses, and I think that's our identity right now, is that we have such a unique team, maybe one of the most unique teams in the NBA. We can go 5 out if we want. We can have 5 bigs out there. We can go small and be okay, but then we can just fall on our own sword. And a lot of that might also be coaching and getting reps of like ATO plays that work well, and getting transition locked in, and post free throws, post makes, like make sure you get back, like some really small things. Let's get into the tier list because it's so blank over there right now.
It is blank.
Jinglin' Joe, old. Moving on.
Old, and where is old tier tonight?
Old is, I would say, below meh tonight.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically meh. Why did he play? Didn't do. I guess he got an assist, but didn't do anything. Go ahead.
I still like Ingles. I know he had a really bad night.
We can all like him.
But if we're only going to play him 4 minutes a game, and he's going to be a -7, why aren't we just playing like Minot, or why aren't we playing Dillingham or anybody for just even 4 minutes? Can't be much worse than -7 in 4 minutes. So, like, just give it a shot. I don't know, but I guess they haven't earned it or something. It's confusing to me. But
yeah, Nicole Smith writes about Dante, and Dante had 26 minutes, 1 for 6 from the floor, including 1 for 5 from 3, only 3 points, 6 assists. Give it up to Dante for 6 assists. That's incredible. And 2 steals. He actually played pretty solid defense. He was a team high +5 on the plus or minus chart. However, we did bring him here for a certain skill set that didn't show his head. And
it is not translated really at all.
Yeah, and I do think that that's probably one of the biggest things that I saw from this game tonight, is that, like, when we do 5 switches, or when we have a couple people out, like, it should be Dante's time, or we should be forcing the ball with Dante and use him and take advantage of him. And instead, we're like kind of floundering around, not understanding when Ant goes out who is priority or who should get the shots. And maybe it's good, and maybe it's a good, like, spontaneous philosophy, but I feel like Dante needs the rhythm. Dante needs to get hot, and then that really escalates, or like, promotes our team identity, in my opinion. So I think this is kind of a meh game from him. 1 for 5 probably should be D'Lo or Wancho. Your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it should probably be D'Lo. I mean, I agree with the defense or the assists, but I think he's getting assists because he's scared to shoot a little bit. Like, he's just not on. So yeah, I think it's probably a D'Lo tonight. If he goes 2 of, or if he goes 3 of 5, I know I do this stupid thing every night, but if he goes 3 of 5, the game is tied. If he goes 3 of 5 from 3, so it's a difference. And hopefully he can get his shot back. I mean, he will. I hope it happens soon. We'll see.
Guys,
yes.
This sounds so stupid. Sometimes stats lie, but, like, let's just read this off. Like, 50% from the field, 48%, 49% essentially from 3. We hit more, we went to the free throw line more. We had more rebounds, like just a couple, but you know what I'm saying? Yet they won. Yet they kind of owned us. And it's just a couple inefficiency things. Like, we didn't hit the free throws enough, and our percentage is there, but, like, they hit, like, they pretty much had 15 to 20 more takes than us because of our turnovers.
Wow,
and it looks like we're thinking too much. Once things start to come down a bit, they'll cook. I love that. So, speaking of cooking, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, 24 minutes, 11 points, 4 for 7 from the field. What's his name? Gundy couldn't stop talking about his stat lines. 3 for 5 from 3, including a steal, and just lockdown defense on Luka when he had the chance, except for that one stupid ass bomb from half court. That sucked. That's just Luka being Luka.
Exactly. That's just Luka. There's nothing you can do.
Nas an A for me.
I agree. I think he was an A as well. I mean, he is showing a ton of worth. And, like, we were a little nervous. I mean, we have always loved Na, but, like, we were a little nervous about how he would fit into this team once the trade happened, and, like, what it would look like. Are we just going to be playing Dante DiVincenzo a ton. And Na is going to step back a lot. But it seems like he's been getting pretty close and he's been effective with his minutes. So I really like Na to start this year, and especially the shooting, especially the 3-point shooting. If he can be a 3-and-D point guard for us, that's fantastic. So yeah, I mean, really probably the best player of the game for us. One of the best players of the game for sure.
For sure.
And I hope it keeps happening and keeps us somewhat afloat, because I do feel like he is the thing that is somewhat keeping us afloat, even though we lost tonight. Like, if we didn't have Na, this game was, I don't even know. I have no clue. So
stats are going to be the question for this next player. 25 minutes, 5 for 8 from the floor. Naz Reid, 14 points, 9 rebounds. Also, 5 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Also, mental lapses all night long on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I'll leave it to you for a grade, but he hit 2 for 5 from 3 and went to line for a few times, and he had that sick block.
He did have that sick block. That is right. I feel like he did have a little bit of scrappiness going for rebounds, which I think is shown in the rebounding total being at 9 instead of like 5 or something like that. But yeah, there were mental lapses. It was kind of an up and down night for me watching Naz. It just felt like at times it was like, wow, like he just steps up for 3 and just nails it. It's just, he's one of those players where it's like, this is what I wish Cat would have done for us. Like, just very consistently and calmly just knock down threes. That feels good. And there were also some times where he was like taking Doncic on one-on-one, and but converting on some. So so it was like, I don't know. Speaking of which, somebody in the Discord said this: we need to be taking, when we're specifically when we are playing the Mavs, we should be switching Luke onto Luka every time. We should be tiring him out, getting fouls, getting him angry.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing that we haven't done that now, and we've played them how many times? Like, we played them 5 games in the playoffs, and now we're playing
100 times
like,
in the past 48 hours.
Like, we need to be doing that.
Yeah, it is crazy, right? The recipe for Dallas's offense has been kind of scripted for a year and a half since Luka got in the league, honestly. But for the last year and a half, then they got the pieces and they traded for their bigs. Like, it's just been really rock solid. But you can frustrate both Kyrie and Luka, and it's just better offense at times over defense. But get in him and, like, I want to say bend him over, but basically frustrate him. And he was kind of not a factor in the second half. Kyrie popped off, and the bigs were really a big factor in the second half. But Kyrie just closed, or Luka just closed the game, right? So, but kind of finishing off Naz Reid, I think he was a meh, if not D-low. But his kind of production was fine enough to be above D-low, because that's 14 and 9. You can't really like fault that. But 5 turnovers. That's part of the problem I have with like Naz and Dante on the court together. Naz is kind of a willing passer, but not always. More often than not, he's a dribble driver scorer, or like set shot, from the perimeter. He's not looking to swing. And then Dante, when he has the ball in his hands, he's looking to make the best play or the right play. I think he's really smart out there, notably with the 6 assists. But them together, it seems like they're fighting for the possession. They're fighting for the ball to shoot. So I feel like they're great together, but also they need to be. And I think this is going to be part of Finch's plan here to make sure that we get the best out of everyone. Is Dante's part of the starters at some times with, all the starters, and like Naz is with the starters, and they're separate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so it was Capo that said that in the Discord about attacking him when he's on defense. We just let him stand there and do nothing. Yeah. So, I put him in meh. I think it was a good enough, like, out, or like what's the word I'm looking for? There was enough stats there to make up for some of the bad things, and it was a roller coaster. It was up and down between B and D-low and whatever. So I think Matt is fair. But
Nicole said it best. Finch gets Glenn tailored tonight. And hey, actually, Nicole, you asked a question earlier. We're going to answer that maybe after the tier list, but it's about our team. Moving on to the starters, Mike Conley. Wow. Interesting stat line. 21 minutes, 2 for 6 on the floor, including 2 for 4 from 3. Hit all his free throws, had 6 assists, had 4 fouls. Turnovers and 9 points. I read that stat line weirdly, but the thing that sticks out to me most is that it looks solid, but I also didn't really feel like he was there at all in the game.
See, it's funny. I see this and I feel like he was more, but I think I'm just remembering every one of these games, other than I think maybe the first game of the season, he has like he hits 2 threes in a row, and I'm like, yeah, Mike's back, and I feel really good about Mike. And then he does nothing else for the rest of the game, but for some reason my brain is like, Mike did well. Like, and he really did well for like 60 seconds. Um, yeah, I mean, the fouls were kind of annoying. Some of them maybe weren't fouls, some of them were. Um, it's tricky because we have Na out there looking so good, but Na is not as like pure of a point guard as Conley is. So I'm not trying to say bench Conley or anything like that, but it's just when Na is playing that well, you kind of need to have him out there instead, because you want the bucket getter. Now, if Conley could make more threes like he was doing for those 60 seconds tonight, then yeah, I mean, Conley should be out there if he can be a weapon. That is, I mean, that's the thing that the Timberwolves have had to struggle with for decades. We don't have a point guard that can shoot. It was Ricky Rubio or whoever. Forever it was like we have 4 other players that are solid, but we need the point guard, so we're not playing 4-on-5. So if Conley can hit some shots when he's wide open, then fantastic. But he didn't take a ton tonight, and I honestly feel like he probably should have taken more tonight. But yeah, it's just also maybe it's just a mismatch thing because you can't really have Conley on Kyrie, so it's just
100%. Someone said it earlier. It's just he gets kind of dominated in these matchups, and you can't stand with Kyrie. You get bullied by Luka. He had no business being out there tonight. Na was incredible for all the things that Mike Conley couldn't be, but he did play his role. He hit a couple threes. Like he got a lot of the swing play from Julius Randle going. So I really liked that, respect it. But also, he shouldn't have been out there tonight, at least.
Yeah, I agree. Is he an old tier?
Oh, Mason. I don't know if I want to believe that. Man, he was also like Mike was just one of the better defenders in the league when he was like with Memphis and early years in Utah. But anyways, we have to now kind of like cater to the old factor, right?
Yeah.
The knees, the arms. I don't know. He's going through something with his arm or shoulder currently, but he had 2 for 4 from 3. That's like all we care about right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to the next player, Jaden McDaniels, 34 minutes, 3 fouls. Wow, that is
pretty good.
Unique to Jaden against Dallas.
Yeah.
6 for 11 from the floor, including a 3. 13 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. I feel like he could have played 48 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, why don't if he's not fouling out, he should be playing 48 minutes. I mean, hater mode activated here.
Maurice.
Okay. Hey, Maurice, welcome back.
A warm welcome to Maurice.
Yes.
Nice to see that.
Yeah.
I'll get your thoughts on that in a second.
Yes. But for Jaden, I mean, I'm activating hater mode. I just have no confidence in his offense. I just have none. It just doesn't look good to me. And I can see what he's doing when he's like dribble driving and he's trying to like get people up in the air, but he's just not there yet. And maybe it just needs to take more time. I know that he shot like well tonight and he got to the rim a little bit, but I'm just saying that the times that he did, they didn't look great. Now, you could also argue that that's kind of just how Jaden's offense has looked forever. Like it's not like the smoothest thing ever, other than his like KD crossover that he does every once in a while.
That's smooth.
That is smooth. But other than that, everything else is kind of, and like sometimes his threes look okay. But I just felt like there were moments tonight where he had shots that we really needed, and he had like an open look, and it's just clanking. So I know he shot over 50%, and I'm just so hating right now. And I'm not blaming the loss on him either. I just think that this is like, I can just see the potential for Jaden, and I don't know. It's concerning. But on a nightly basis, this was a good night, especially for 3 fouls only against Luka. That's fantastic, and I wish we would have had him out there more for defensive purposes. So I don't know. I guess I don't know where to put him. I'm a hater. What do you say?
I mean, I thought he made some miraculous shots, including the 3 that Zachary's talking or pointing out in that late in closing or the later half of the fourth quarter, before when Ant was kind of just coming back in, when Na was on his run from 3. And And I thought there was a couple back cuts that were awesome, as Nicole mentioned, but then like Nas missed them, or like Rudy kind of interrupted the pass stupidly. Things like that happen.
Mhm.
So more to develop, more to come from Jaden. I actually love this aggressive version of Jaden. In the development of this identity is how do we utilize Jaden? Like that is going to be something that I can't wait to see. But hey, haven't we been saying that for a couple of years now? So
Yeah.
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 Go ahead and put him in whatever grade you want.
I know. I wanted you to say a grade. I'm too much of a hater.
I'm above a meh, but I think you're below a meh, so it's up to you.
That sounds like a meh to me.
It sounds like a meta.
Although
Yeah.
meh plus because of the only 3 fouls. That truly is
Meh
like
plus.
insane.
Matthew Hansen agrees. Kappa wants an old tier for Jaden because he plays like a 40-year-old sometimes.
He does. Yes. That is true.
A little rec ball, Jaden. Rudy Gobert. Tonight was his worst game of the season. It's an early season, but is obviously absolutely the worst game of the season. He has been cooked, absolutely cooked by the Dallas Bigs since they got Lively and Gafford. What an incredible pull. And he's been one of our best players of the season so far. Tonight was a reason why to kind of be a little bit more reserved about what Gobert can do, because offensively he was nothing. And that's also part of the system and identity that we need to talk about, maybe potentially all throughout the season. But 31 minutes, Rudy Gobert, 2 for 5 from the floor. As a 7-footer, he should be dunking this crap, but instead he's just not. Sorry, that's too many thoughts while I'm reading out the box score. 2 for 5 from the floor, 7 points, 8 rebounds, no block shots, 2 turnovers, 4 offensive rebounds, which was incredible. A couple of them also were off of missed free throws or stuff like that. But I don't know. We didn't capitalize on his size. Even when they have like PJ Washington on him, like he's not doing anything. And he's like a few steps out, he's dribbling, he's doing some Euro crap. Long story short, sorry, Cameron, this is a dud game from Gobert. I want to say old, I want to say D'Lo, I want to say Wancho. I just want to be like bottom of the tier list for Gobert tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, now available.
Yeah, now available. He's eligible for AARP. But hey, that could be a secondary old tier AARP. Anyways, Godfrey, welcome back, Godfrey. Maybe you've been here the whole time.
He's been here the whole time. He was really disappointed that Ant didn't go for 96.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's probably what should have happened. However, I think I'm with Godfrey. I do think it's a D'Lo. I mean, this just can't be how it is. Like even that last play, that should have been an out of bounds on either PJ Washington or Gafford. I don't remember who. But he's like trying to box out Lively, which he's doing successfully. But he just kind of taps the ball forward to the sideline. Like I don't know what he's doing there. He could just grab that and get fouled even or something. I don't know. That play specifically bothered me. But on top of that, I mean, he is getting. Apparently this is just the worst matchup for him. I don't know. But the only plus I will say about him tonight is that he held his own against Luka 2 times from 3, I think. So that's right. I will take that because had a lot of flashbacks happen right there. And was very happy to not see that happen, even though Luka ended up doing the same thing to Na later. I'm just glad it wasn't Rudy because I do not want to be a part of that media cycle for the next 3 days until the next Timberwolves game. So yeah, I think it's a D'Lo for me. This is Rudy has some of these random games. The next game, I'm sure he'll probably be A for us because he's going to have 12 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, and very consequential defensive plays or something. I don't know. So I don't know. I think it's D'Lo.
From Big Roo to Big Julius Randle. I can't get over that nickname that you have just imprinted on my brain. 35 minutes and a bloody nose for Julius Randle. 7 for 13 from the floor, 20 points, including 3 for 3 from 3. Wow. A couple free throws, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Hell yeah, to the man. 2 steals. Crispy passing from Julius Randle. not enough aggression, not enough trips to the line, not enough bully ball,
Mhm.
and in my opinion, not enough total defensive effort. He'll be there for 25% of that possession or 50% of the possession, but not on the ends of the possession where you need the rebound, where you need the box out, where you need to just find the person who's gonna get the rebound and secure it, or box out the Mavs so then someone else can get the rebound. I feel like a couple defensive efforts his way, transition our way, we win this game. Hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just clear that he's still getting used to it. I mean, he's shooting pretty well, which is great. But like you said, yeah, we do want him to be a little bit more aggressive. At the same time, though, there were multiple times tonight where he kind of was just crashing into people and losing the ball. Like I had no faith in his handle tonight. It was very concerning. He only ended up three turnovers, but it felt like he was like a sliver away from 10 because he was just every time he's like losing the ball as he gets into the paint. And this is part of his game too that I just have to get used to, is that he does like to just stand under the basket, kind of pivot around, find an open person, and he's got like three people on him, and it's just like trying to get the ball out. It's very nerve-wracking for me. But I just need to learn Julius a little bit more and understand that he is capable of passing out of those situations, unlike previous bigs that we've had. So that's part of it for me. In general, I'm liking what Julius is doing, but yeah, there is still a little bit of an effort issue, as you mentioned. But I'd say honestly, he's playing better than what I'd expected 4 or 5 games in the season, wherever we are. So I think he's integrated a little bit better than I expected, or faster than I expected. So,
in the second half, he only had 8 points. So I would expect that to be kind of at his average, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
we need to be above average. I think maybe he was just a bit above average tonight. So I'm going to put him as a B.
I think B is fair. I was honestly, I was sort of in between B and mad, but I think I said too many positive things, so I think it has to be a B.
Yeah. Hey, to close out the tier list, I hope you put Finch in. Yeah, you did. Anthony Edwards, after a blistering, uncut NBA YouTube video of Anthony Edwards popping off for 24 in the first quarter. Daryl, that was hilarious when you mentioned that. 12 for 20 from the field afterwards. I think it was 8 for 10 after one. 7 for 13 from the three-point line. 6 for 12 from the free throw line. We can maybe talk about that or just ignore it. 6 rebounds, 5 turnovers. I don't think I said it, but he had 37 points. 12 for 20 from the floor. Ooh, come back to form. That was incredible, especially when you went 8 for 10 from the first floor. I was hyped. I was off my chair. Couldn't believe it. It was incredible. Then I didn't really see him until the end of the game. Cameron, what do we make of this Anthony Edwards mystery?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like I've got some hot takes. Maybe, I don't know. This. Of course, the start of the game was great. I love the aggressiveness. I love taking advantage of him obviously being hot. I was very happy. He had 6 threes in the first, and I was like, man, we might actually. He has a real chance to break the 3-point record tonight. With knowing how much he's emphasizing taking threes, and he already had 6 made in the first quarter, I was like, okay, this could be crazy. But really, I mean, beyond the first quarter, now I guess the only asterisk that I'm going to put on any of the next comments that I may or may not make is that he may or may not have been injured. He was obviously grabbing his leg a bunch. I'm just doubtful of a lot of the stars in tonight's game and injuries. I don't necessarily believe all the time when Ant does that. And I don't necessarily believe when Luka goes out. He came back and was totally fine. And it was acting like he had tore his ACL or something. And then, I don't know how much stock I put in how real that is, if it's not just like a breather or something. I don't know. However, this is so funny. People that anybody that watches us only this year are gonna think that I am like this crazy Ant hater. That's what they're gonna say. Guys, you gotta. I'm sorry, you have to go back.
Dude, if they say something about you, you made it, man. You're big time.
You have to watch back all of last season's episodes so you can fully understand my Ant
I'll watch
take
our
here.
last season package, Cameron's package.
Yeah, you got to watch every hour
Ant-
plus long episode.
We had Ant Funny Moments Part 1. We had Cam's Ant Talk Ant Points Part 2.
Yeah. But quarters 2, 3, and 4 were just duds. I don't know. Like it was just nothing. And I thought it was just kind of like empty shot making at times. We need more leadership. I mean, the free throws, to me, I don't think that he's a bad free throw shooter. I think he's just lacking focus. So, and I think that shows and translates to his gameplay. And I don't know, he just needs. It's frustrating because usually when Ant gets buckets early, you just know it's going to be a fantastic night for Ant. And of course, 37 points is fantastic, obviously. But he was so hot in the first, and then nothing else. It was just after that, it was I don't know. It was just not really there. Maybe it was injury, maybe it wasn't. But I mean, I can't really give too high of a grade for this because I feel like he also had costly turnovers. I mean, they missed 2 free throws at the end of the game. It's a 4-point game. Ant goes down. He just dribbles it right into the defender. Like, it's just inexcusable for somebody that's supposed to be like a superstar. And that's what he is now. So the pressure, like, that's how we're going to grade him on the tier list. It's going to be harsher than maybe some would like. So for me, I mean, I think 37 is hard to be like, it was like below meh. But for me, I almost want to say meh. Is that crazy? You can tell me I'm crazy.
It's pretty crazy. I don't think you're far off though. Like meh plus or B minus. Manuel, really quick, was the first quarter ISO offense, missed the first half of the game. 9 assists on 12 makes, and 8 of those 12 makes were Ant like pretty much just dominating. So and 4 of those were like Julius Randle, including like a whipping pass to Julius or to Dante DiVincenzo in the corner, so it was insanely awesome, Manuel. I think you need to maybe rewatch that first quarter if you're able to, just to kind of get like a glimpse of like what is possible with this team.
Yeah, because you just saw the second, third, and fourth quarter. Yeah, it was not good. Yeah.
Finch in his tailored tier kind of iced him, as someone said earlier. Then he also kind of just really thought about his foot and knee a lot. And as you were talking about exaggerating his injuries, maybe he's just fully in his head thinking about them. And so he's not as aggressive. He's not getting to the line. And when he gets to the line, he's shanking free throws. It was incredibly embarrassing or disappointing, I would say. This is not a routine game for Ant. I'll give him a pass. But also, like, after that first quarter, kind of a stinker, right? Just all around stinker, including the late game turnover off of Nazir Muhammad's knee. Like, why are you pushing the ball to his knee? Like, I think that could have been a little bit more controlled. I think there needs to be some ball handling drills that he needs to be working on to kind of tighten his handle, because I do think his passing, while ample, it's still loose, it's still very floaty, and his dribbling can use a lot of work. So just in general, from my point of view, I think this is a math or a 30,
it feels crazy.
Score.
It feels crazy, but I just think that like he's, and I don't mean to say this as
I'm
like,
so sorry. It's not Bill Marshall.
I don't mean to say this as I thought you were saying 2 different players. I don't mean to say this as like, oh, well, Ant's the number 1, so he has to completely save the team. He has to completely win the game. He has to score 96 points or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it needs to, like, I'm not saying he can't have a 24-point quarter, because obviously I think that was good, taking advantage of a hot hand. But he needs to find other ways to be productive, be better on defense, be better with ball handling, especially in a game like this where it's like, also we've just had so many turnovers all season, and he is like a big, big problem of that. And I get it. Like he's getting the ball in his hands more than he ever has in his life, maybe. But it's like he needs to be better at that. We need to, like, I don't know, maybe it is dribbling things. And I mean, he said all offseason, all he worked on was shooting threes, which of course is somewhat translated. Obviously he's taking a lot more and making more. But we really do need the ball handling as well because, as my hypothesis of him wanting to make more threes and take more threes is so that he can drive easier to the rim because the defender has to press up more and respect his 3-point ability. But you need to be able to dribble around that defender still. And that is still something that is a struggle for him. I think he even got bailed out a couple times when he actually just lost it tonight. So, the free throws are a problem. I think that's just a mental thing. I think I think he's better than that at free throws. And turnovers are a thing that's been a thing. But obviously he was efficient tonight. But it did just feel empty. I don't know, just felt empty.
What an interesting visual. At the bottom of the tier list is Finch, and below Finch's decapitated head are the young little spry cutie boys.
Yeah.
And Rob Dillingham, Josh Minot, why not? Luka Garza from Iowa.
I'm desperate to see these four.
King of the Corn, and Terrence Shannon Jr., who I am just so damn high on. Yeah. I think we could have used the burst of youth in this game, especially in the second quarter when we were just blah out there, especially when Ant wasn't out there. And some rolling thoughts to kind of conclude this game in the tier list. Nicole asked us half an hour ago, you guys think we're going to be a better team than last year?
Chat, you can answer that. I already answered this earlier in our preview and everything. I think we are going to be worse this year. I think we're going to be closer to a 45-win team than a 52-win team. I know the memes are 52 wins. I know the casinos say 52 wins. And I know that 50 wins is possible. I just think, it's just like I started the show. Like, I'm not saying that we can't win games while we're figuring things out, or that we can't be as good of a team. Like, we can't win as many games as we won last year. But I do think that we're going to be worse. I think we're going to be lower. I think we're going to be somewhere in that 4 to 6 range seed wise. But that also depends. It's hard, it's hard to guess seeding when you don't really know what the other teams are going to do, because right now it's all up in the air. I mean, Curry's hurt. The Pelicans are amazing one night, terrible the next. All these different teams out here. The Lakers are 3-1 to start the season and look somewhat serviceable, but then LeBron almost did 10 points the other day. He's fallen off. But yeah, so seeding, it's hard to know, but I think just basing it on the Timberwolves solely, I do think that we are a worse team this year. But again, that's kind of a deeper thought, because it's not just that it's you have a good year, usually you have a bad year, then you come back the next year. It's just how usually it works for all teams. So I'm not saying that we're going to be a bad team this year, but I think we will be worse.
Yeah. Some crazy commentary about maybe the youth should not be playing because we need the team to gel first, and the team's not gelling. We're 28th in paint production, and we're still not where we need to be in transition, and our turnovers are high, and that doesn't really fly. And we're not making free throws. So all these little basic things, fundamental things from a team that's has championship aspirations and potentially a pedigree, that a resume that can maybe get there.
Yeah,
we're getting kind of maybe taking the league is kind of not passing us by, but the OKC and the Dallases are ahead of us in that tier, and Lakers are coming, and there's no real slouch in the Western Conference. So
yeah,
in a weird way of saying this, hey, you're professional basketball players get millions of dollars, suck it up, play smarter, play better, and take advantage of these opportunities. And so I think this was a missed opportunity absolutely from Minnesota. But hey, it's early 4 games in. We're 2-2. Oh my God. The world is not on fire. Or actually, well, the world's on fire, but in basketball world, Minnesota's not, is just fine.
That is very true. Yeah. And also, I mean, these first 4 or 5 games of the season are the toughest here for a while. After we get through, because we played Denver on Friday, after we play Denver, it's San Antonio, Charlotte, Bulls, Trailblazers, Heat, who not looking good at all right now. Trailblazers again, and then the Kings. So we've got an easier schedule coming up, and that'll be great to get some gel time. Hopefully, see some of the young guys too. But yeah, we shall see. So yeah, But I think that might be it for us tonight.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're at 2,090 subscribers. We're only 10 away
Oh my
from
gosh.
getting to 2,100.
That's exciting.
21 for KG. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah. And if you haven't already, please check out our podcast links. I didn't put up the last show because I screwed up the beginning so awfully with my audio issues that I didn't want to edit it, so I gave up. My gosh, Nightbot is like on fire with telling people the links for Spotify and Apple Podcasts. They're in the chat. They're also in the link in the bio. But the Timberwolves do play the Nuggets at home on Friday night. Sorry to tell you all, it's a later game. It is an 8:30 Central game. So get ready for a little bit later game. And then we play on Saturday as well. I don't know my schedule coming up for the next 2 days or the next 2 games. I am unsure if I am available. So the way to know if we're going to stream is the Discord. Please join the Discord. The Discord will be in also the link in the bio. So yeah, love the podcast options. Perfect.
Love you clapping us.
That's awesome. Oh, somebody just got banned.
Well, a mistake. I'm sorry.
We got to unban James.
You got to unban someone. I don't know how to do it. So.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I made a couple of clicks.
I wonder. Maybe I can.
I'm sorry, James.
Can I do this? Can I fix this? I don't know.
Hey, man, rate us a 5-star review.
Yeah, James, we're sorry. We did this to Mason, and then we like unmodded it, or we modded him or something. Interesting. Well, we'll figure that one out. Hopefully we can figure that out. Anyways, I think that's it. Perfect. Well, it was great to see you all. Check out the podcast. Check the Discord to see if we're streaming on Friday or Saturday. Also, I forgot to ask you guys. Yeah, I can't fix it either, Gerald. I don't know what's happening. I think it might. It's very strange. But do you guys prefer the new intro music or the old outro music? I saw somebody comment that they missed the jazz. I'm indifferent. I am fine to go back to the old one, and I'd honestly feel a lot more comfortable to go back to the old one because I'm not worried about getting DMCA striked or something. But if you guys don't care, we can keep doing it if you like the new one. So let me know. I appreciate that, Mason. But if you have a preference, let me know. We can do either. We can kind of slap either one. Gerald, I think it is only 300 seconds, maybe, hopefully, because yeah, I can't get them back. But James, if you're here, we didn't mean it. Cool.
Matthew says the jazz goes hard.
Jazz goes hard. Jazz and the Nas Reed song, which, speaking of which, that is still here, I believe. So that is, let's see, we could play that. Where is it?
No, we don't need to.
Too late.
All right. I feel like it's saved for man.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Nas
was kind of a mess.
Yeah. New one is fun for special occasions. Okay, I see. It's us dressing up. Okay, cool. Can we bring back the Timberwolves Brazil someday? Hopefully. I mean, they're on Instagram. Check them out on Instagram. They actually are on Instagram for real. So, okay, now we're done.
Friday versus Denver.
Friday versus Denver.
Weird and interesting, and I don't know what to think about them. Did they lose tonight? They
won in overtime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Other embarrassing thing about tonight, Dallas was playing last night, so that's
that
not
sucks.
Good. Anyways, new intro is the outro. No jazz. So sorry, everybody. But it was fun to see you all. We'll see you next time, whenever next time is. Subscribe to the channel. Get us to 2,100. Peace.
Play Rob Dillingham.
Play Real Dillingham.
Yo, trying to hit this. I guess I could take one.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the world championship.
They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
Nobody will ever come catch me. I'm just trying to be myself.